Hunter, this is Sector 4. We have lost contact with Flight 121. Anyone else show our primary target at 29er?
Confirming loss of signal. I have a Mayday squawk at the last known position.
In the early hours of March 8, 2014, the skies over Southeast Asia were calm and uneventful. Air traffic across the region moved quietly through the night, guided by radar screens and radio transmissions that stitched together one of the busiest aviation corridors in the world. Among the aircraft moving through that darkness was a commercial airliner departing from Kuala Lumpur International Airport, bound for Beijing. The flight was routine. Passengers settled into their seats, cabin lights dimmed, and the aircraft climbed steadily into cruising altitude. On board were travelers from multiple nations' business professionals, families, and crew members trained to handle every aspect of modern aviation safety. Nothing in those early moments suggested that the flight would soon become one of the greatest mysteries in aviation history. Shortly after takeoff, the aircraft established normal communication with air traffic controllers. Its flight path appeared stable, its systems functioning exactly as expected. For the first part of the journey, everything followed the predictable rhythm of international travel. Pilots exchanged routine messages with control towers, confirming altitude and heading as the aircraft approached the boundary between Malaysian and Vietnamese airspace. Then something unusual happened. Just minutes after the aircraft passed its final routine checkpoint, its transponder, the device that transmits identification and location data to radar systems, suddenly stopped sending signals. On air traffic controller screens, the aircraft's digital identity simply disappeared. In the world of aviation monitoring, such an event is rare, but not immediately alarming. Equipment can malfunction, and pilots can manually disable certain systems in response to technical problems. But the silence continued. Radio contact was attempted again and again, yet the cockpit remained quiet. No distress signal was transmitted. No emergency code appeared on radar. The aircraft had simply vanished from the network of electronic signals that normally track commercial flights across the globe. As minutes turned into hours, confusion spread among aviation authorities. The aircraft had been carrying 239 people, including passengers and crew. Its scheduled arrival time in Beijing passed without any sign of the plane. Families waiting at the airport began to realize that something was terribly wrong. Within hours, a massive search operation began. Military aircraft, naval vessels, and satellite surveillance systems scanned vast areas of ocean and coastline. Governments from multiple countries joined the effort, determined to locate any trace of the missing aircraft. Radar data soon revealed something even more perplexing. Military radar systems suggested that the aircraft might have changed direction after losing contact with civilian air traffic controllers. Instead of continuing toward Beijing, it appeared to have turned back across the Malaysian peninsula before heading out over the open ocean. Why the aircraft altered its course and who might have been controlling it remained completely unknown. Investigators began examining every possible explanation. Some considered the possibility of catastrophic mechanical failure. Others explored whether the aircraft had suffered a sudden depressurization, leaving the crew unable to respond. A more disturbing theory suggested that someone inside the cockpit might have intentionally altered the plane's course. Adding to the mystery was data obtained from satellite communication systems. Even after its transponder stopped transmitting, automated signals known as handshakes continued to be exchanged between the aircraft and communications satellite for several hours. These signals did not reveal the aircraft's exact position, but they allowed analysts to estimate a vast arc across the southern Indian Ocean where the plane might have ended its journey. The search area was enormous, thousands of square kilometers of remote ocean, far from major shipping routes. Specialized vessels equipped with sonar equipment began scanning the seabed, hoping to locate the aircraft's flight data recorders, commonly known as the black boxes. These devices could potentially reveal the final moments of the flight. Months passed, then years. Despite one of the largest aviation search operations ever conducted, Only small fragments of debris were eventually recovered along distant shorelines. Some pieces were confirmed to belong to the missing aircraft, carried across oceans by currents and tides. Yet the main wreckage site remained elusive, hidden somewhere beneath miles of water. The disappearance raised difficult questions about aviation security, aircraft tracking technology, and the vulnerabilities of modern transportation systems. How could a commercial aircraft carrying hundreds of people simply vanish in an age of advanced satellites and global monitoring systems? The mystery also left behind an emotional legacy. Families of the passengers continued to search for answers, hoping that one day the full truth of the flight's final journey would be discovered. Today, the disappearance remains one of the most puzzling unsolved events in modern aviation history. Investigators have reconstructed fragments of the story through radar data, satellite analysis, and debris recovery. Yet the precise sequence of events that unfolded inside the aircraft during its final hours remains unknown. Somewhere in the depths of the ocean, the missing aircraft still holds its secrets. And until those secrets are found, the question that haunts investigators and the families of those who were on board remains painfully simple. What really happened to the plane that disappeared into the night?